don't give them the advantage. If your player has the advantage in that area, don't go there.
That's what they say. That is what they say. But here we go. We have the upper semifinals, as you mentioned. And if you're in the chat, predictions will be open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. As a reminder, the winner of this series advances on to the grand finals to face up against the winner of Beyond and Classic.
Indeed, they shall. We're already in the semis. We're getting ready for grand finals, and it has been less than 2 hours. These past couple of ESL Asians have been quick, but regardless, we're here on El Quione, where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He's, of course, going to be representing the Gaming Gladiators, GG, proving himself very, very strong in the ZVZ matchup, as well as in the ZVT matchup. But now, he's got a ZVP on his hands. I'll see if he can continue.
Oh.
It is SHIN going for gold.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Gen G Esports. It is a trap.
Team GG versus Team GG, and Trap already scouts this. Will be throwing down a couple of cannons to prevent this.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen this time and time again from the Korean Protoss players, but whenever they scout this kind of goal-based rush, then they respond with a forge, they respond with pylons, and they respond with a cannon rush. So Trap is in position to shut this down.
Yeah, Trap is in position to shut this down, but I don't know if you remember this, Light, but a couple months ago, before DreamHack Dallas, SHIN himself was the player who showed us how to counter the cannon rush counter when he played against Classic on this map in the grand finals and of ESL Asia, although this time it looks like SHIN is just going to give it up.
Yeah, SHIN, he takes his natural, takes a third base as well, is just getting into a macro game, double expanding, and is going to be denied. We can see that Trap was forced to finish up the pylon and one cannon, but a very light commitment here from Trap as he's expanding back at home.
Yeah. SHIN now kind of scrambling to get back in order, and I believe the cannons that get cancelled here from Trap, so not that big of an... No, it actually didn't. Okay.
Just the one, though. He was able to cancel the other.
Okay,
but yeah, just the one cannon did finish up. Meanwhile, SHIN is getting into link speed. We have a couple of links on the way to keep us safe against the initial adept aggression. As we make sure that we have... Yeah, predictions open. There we go.
Alright, we need to get the Gamba going.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
How's it go? The Gamba, the grapes must flow.
Huh? There you go. As did I say,
confirmation. Yeah, that is the saying.
There you go. As actually Trap going for his tech of choice, not going for a Stargate.
Yeah, in fact, that is going to be a bit of an earlier Twilight Council. Which I suppose does make sense if you're going to be committed into... If you're going to be committing to adepts like this. But we'll see if we do end up getting...
Yeah, as we do see...
Pardon me, if we do end up getting Glaives, or if it's going to be Blink instead.
Yeah, as SHIN does move out across the map, we do see we have not pulled out a gas, so it looks like a DT-based opener out of Trap. The Twilight Council is now done, and we should soon be seeing a Dark Shrine on the horizon. There's actually no Robo. Okay, it is going to be the Dark Shrine, but no Warp Prism.
This is smart. Because no one expects the DTs to just walk across the map.
I mean, true, you don't expect that.
Yeah. That's my thesis.
So there's going to be those initial DTs. Again, so without the Warp Prism, that means that we cannot reinforce across the map. That also means that we can't go for Archon and Drop Harass either. That's the other downside here, is that the follow-up is going to be a little bit less effective for Trap. SHIN, meanwhile, the Scout is going to be denied. The Overlord won't quite get into the main base. SHIN is still a little bit in the dark, but no, at least they flood in!
Yeah, they do, and they are able to get right into that main base, right behind the middle line, and will confirm the Dark Shrine. Or will they? They've been caught by the probes. Okay, now they will.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, we'll confirm the Dark Shrine.
Yeah, Dark Shrine is spotted. We're going to get 4 probe kills here in the main base. Likewise, the slip on in as well, and we're going to get a 5th probe kill. Meanwhile, fun fact, I don't know if this is like how it all started, but fun fact, a couple of months ago, at the start of the year, Australia was competing in, I think it was the KSL, and he was playing against Dark, and he asked us like what builds to do. And we were loading into Alcyone, and I remember telling him that if Dark goes for the gold base, if he rushes into the gold on Alcyone, we've seen Hero Cannon Rush to punish it. And Classic's like, sorry, Australia's like, oh, okay, I'll try that. So then Australia blindly opened up Forge, and Dark didn't take the gold, and Dark just went for an all-in, and Australia was woefully underprepared, and I had to apologize to it because I felt like we made it lose. but
Look, you said if he goes
yeah.
for the gold.
You're not wrong,
You didn't just tell him to go. You didn't just tell him to cannon rush blindly.
You just went for it. Just went for it.
Translation, yeah.
I did apologize to Australia.
When's this coming up?
But yeah, Hero started it, if I recall correctly. So, just fun fact.
All right, well, yeah, I feel like that's a core memory unlock coming for. I feel like that's something that's been weighing on you quite a while. Like you had to bring it up now.
I bring it up all the time.
Just to get it up, yeah. Or just to get it off your chest, you know. But yeah, we are going to be seeing the transition now from Trap. He wasn't quite able to go for his DT harass. He did make one, and he sent it across the map to try to see if he could get anything done with it. And yeah, the answer is no. Not when your opponent scouts it early.
Yeah, it doesn't get much.
So now we're seeing a little bit of an awkward expeditionary force.
Yeah, we have a bit of a later Prism. We're going to be able to pick off an Overlord. This is just a really wonky push here, just because Trap back at home is getting saturated on 3 bases. Blink is on the horizon, +1 is on the horizon, but it's not finishing up yet. So yeah, Trap is going to back off. It was only to apply a little bit of pressure here and ideally force an overreaction.
Yeah, which so far we're getting a lot of roaches, which isn't really an overreact. It can be an overreaction if SHIN doesn't utilize them, but we're on Alcyone, we're building a lot of them, we should be seeing them, but I say that, 7 mutas on the way.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, SHIN, he was able to get away with the Spire. We have 7 mutas in production, Baliness all the way as well, and SHIN is going to be committing here into those mutas. Again, 7 mutas, more than enough to one-shot probes, and Trap is in the dark. Oh, no, he saw! He's checking!
Yeah, double checking, gonna be double confirming this Spire. He knows it's up and running, but I'm not sure if he was able to count or get eyes on the number of Mutalisks that SHIN is producing right now. Trap, I mean, the issue with Trap right now is that he didn't open up with a Stargate, right? So he doesn't have any Phoenix production on the way. He will be able to have access to Archons. He still has his Dark Shrine, but they are a very expensive way of getting into Archons. He's going to need to cut corners somewhere if he wants to really tech up into them soon.
Yeah, exactly. As I mean, the mutas, they just haven't really done much at all here. They try to dip in, but we have plenty in position. We have the Stalkers, we have Cannons as well at the natural base, and Trap, he's able to fortify himself and build up towards Archons and Storm. But SHIN has map control. That is something that the mutas have gained him, is the fact that Trap is stuck on 3 bases.
Yeah, map control is absolutely in SHIN's favor right now, and it's going to take a while for Trap to continue building up before he can really go across the map. He still needs his upgrades, he still needs charge and everything. Probably a Robo Bay as well, but he's at least getting Storm, so he's not just completely reliant on tier 2 tech.
Yeah, as we do see SHIN rotating around, going to be backing up from here. Likewise, we do have Bailings massing up. SHIN is maxing out on 75 workers. That is just over or just around a 4-base saturation for SHIN. And we'll see if Trap can hold on against this. Storm is not done. It's only halfway done at this point.
That it is not, but we do have 3 sentries. Most of them are on max energy. Force fields do get thrown down, forces a couple of biles. The Archons were kept alive, or one of them at least was kept alive.
Yeah, Zelly Mania crashes on forward, it crashes through the sentries, they're getting into the mineral end as well. We have some Archons dropping in, but the probes are going to go down. Massive connections. We get the Archons as well, and it looks like we barely have anything left over. We have Stalkers, we have Immortals, but Lings will just crash on in and will collapse on top of this army.
Storm? The Temple Archive somehow got depowered. It was the Mutas! The Mutas depowered it in the middle of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wait,
the Mutas
no,
came in and
contamination.
That was a contamination, not the Mutas. Yeah, my mistake. Storm. If Storm was done during that fight, and Storm should have been done during that fight, if not for that contamination. If it was done, then maybe we would have seen a different story.
Yeah, there you go. I did notice as well. Yeah, the Storm was just trapped in stasis, essentially not being able to progress. Meanwhile, Shin, he's backing up and he's rebuilding Remax. He's getting ready for the second wave. He already crippled the economy. He already crashed in with the first push. And now we're getting ready for the second.
Indeed, we are just regrouping a little bit. Oh, gotta be real careful here, as Trap doesn't want this Warp Prison to fall to the Mutalists.
It doesn't want to. Meanwhile, as people are pointing out, we do apologize for the frame drops in game, but unfortunately the Korean server is a little bit unstable. Our internet's fine, the connection on OBS is fine. It's just the BattleNet connection to Korea is not ideal today.
It's been serviced.
Yeah.
The internet. How'd that go? Anyway.
I'll go well.
Ah, okay. Didn't have to wake you up in the middle of the day, but anyway. Shin once again regrouping. He has Remax 200-200. He's just waiting for, or looking for, a single opening for him to shove his entire army through.
And he's just waiting for that opportune moment. You can see Shin behind this, taking him to Hive. Hive is on the way, Hydrogen as well, working towards Hydra Lurker Viper. The main army for Trap isn't looking too bad here, as the armies do actually pass by each other, and Shin could just try to go straight for the third. Oh, but let's pull back.
As he notices the Protoss army moving across the map. Trap does have storms. He's got a lot of storms, but those High Templar are looking a little bit vulnerable. One good Baneling connection is all it's going to take to completely wipe this out.
Yeah, so we do see Shin spreading out his army, going to try and collapse in. Alas, the storms are not looking too bad. Zoning the army away. Massive storm in the middle line.
Yeah, going to be catching a lot of drones in addition to a lot of roaches as well. Baneling's coming in from the back, but it's a little bit too late here for Shin, as obviously the High Templar are now being morphed to Archons, but it looks like we just have so much Zerg that we're going to be able to clean this up anyway and defend anyway. Yeah,
it's so close, but with the reinforcements, 22 roaches, they're just now popping out, and with the reinforcements, Shin, he will hold on and will shut down the main army, and Trap was all in. Trap was completely all in. He was so committed, doesn't really have much at home to work with. Fourth base is getting up and running, but he lost everything in that push.
Yeah, literally everything. Was able to take out 13 drones, which is not bad, if not for the fact that now Trap just doesn't have an army left.
Exactly, those all of his high-tech units, the Immortals, the Archons, the High Templar as well. On top of that, even though Shin lost a lot of workers here at the base, the gold. He's got the gold up and running. The DT is going to be able to slip on in and try to get some worker damage, but this gold base is going to make up for the dead workers.
Like so.
Up.
Body blocking on the Spore, but I think we had an Overseer anyway, so yeah, DT going to get taken out.
DT is taken out, so now Shin can do it again. He can max out and get ready for wave number 3, this time with Lurkers. As the Lurker Den is on the way, we have another DT waddling into the mineral line, getting some more damage. These DTs have been quite annoying.
Yeah, and then more drones go down. I mean, Shin still has a very healthy economy, but this can start to stack up, especially if Shin decides to neglect his drone count in favor of a larger army, but he isn't right now, so...
Yeah, he's re-droning, he's resaturating. Meanwhile, the Lurker upgrades are on the way. Meanwhile, the Ling Road Ravager moving out across the map. And we can see that Shin is looking for another expansion, looking for the fourth base. Will find it and is rocking up with those Banelings.
And try to crash into this mineral line. Quick evacuation coming out here from Trap. So no probes go down, but a couple of shield batteries. One shield battery, as a matter of fact. And a pylon.
Yeah, not bad. Meanwhile, another Baneling run by being set up on the right-hand side. I believe that was spotted by a trap, so he's somewhat aware and does morph in an Archon, does morph in Zealot, so he should be ready for this. These Banelings shouldn't get much done as yet. There's also a great job of just tanking and buying time.
For now.
No, the Archon is a move command!
Yeah, Archon was not quite in position to deal with that, or was in position to deal with that, but not really dealing with that. Asleep at the wheel. 12 more probes go down. If Trap wasn't all in before, he absolutely is now.
Yeah, we do get a nice storm on the Roach Army. A base is going to be going down, so we do pick off a hatchery, but this hatchery didn't really mean too much. Again, Shin is already on 5 bases with a gold, and now we have the Lunkers.
Yeah, and that's typically, in my experience, the final nail in the coffin, but we'll see. Trap, he is getting a Stargate.
You're like, oh, I've seen this before, Papi. The Lunkers. Oh, no. It's over.
There's a lurker in Heroes, now I think about it.
True. There are Hydras.
There are. Yeah. Zagara makes them.
Should they be a lurker hero?
Look, we have Sergeant Hammer, so we have a siege tank hero.
True. True.
There should be a lurker hero.
Yeah, it should be a Lunker.
Yeah.
Scuttle around. Siege up.
Yeah.
Get on that, Blizzard.
Fine. Yeah. Blizzard. We have a probe.
We have a probe. God. Shake my head. Can't believe they just put cannon rushing in heroes. As the army is pushing on forward, the base is going to fall down. The lurkers are slowly gaining ground as well. And again, Trap, he lost so much in the earlier pushes, in the earlier attack. He's going to attempt to surround, but just has so little to work with. He's just going for a counterattack. Oh.
Yeah, trying to opt for a base race, I think, is his best option, but he's just down so much army supply. The vials are starting to land. The lurkers are starting to lurk. The Hydras are starting to hydrate. And Protoss, it's dying.
The lurkers, they're lurking. Oh no. They're doing what they do best. They lurk. Let's go.
But you know what? No vision.
True. No detection. I don't know if you noticed, Shin did bile his own Overseer earlier.
Did he now? I didn't notice that. That's, yeah, that's funny.
As I do see Trap going for a big counterattack, but again, he's just down in supply, down in units. We have very little to work with. GG gets called, and Shin will take game number 1.
GG. A little bit of a bloodfest. Both players trading blows left and right. I do feel like Shin was mostly in control of that game, but Trap definitely didn't make it easy for him.
Yeah, did not make it easy there, as, I mean, Shin was able, I mean, the mutas were not ideal. If you remember, they got scouted and they were able to, they didn't really get much economic damage, but as we saw, the power of the muta there was just containing the Protoss player, keeping them pinned on 3 bases, and it allowed Shin to snowball out of control from there to gain map control, to max out and just be hyper aggressive with his Lingbane Roach Rapture army. Also, the contamination, that was a big move as well.
Yep. Yeah, that really felt like when the first domino started to fall, right? Or, I guess, not necessarily the first domino, but that was really the first major loss. And that felt like Trap wasn't quite able to come back from after that position. If he had some storm in that defense, then, you know, maybe he would have been able to keep a couple more of his probes alive. I still think he would have traded a lot of his army in that defense, but would have probably been able to salvage a bit more of his economy, would have been able to keep up with Shin and his gold base for a little while longer, and who knows, maybe transition to Sky Toss. That was, I think, the plan towards the end there from Trap, but unfortunately didn't quite have the economy to do so. But regardless, we're going to be continuing our series, our best of 3 semifinals now on Dynasty. The first time we're seeing this map tonight so far, actually. And in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left, we of course have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea.
Ah!
He's, of course, going to be representing his team, the Gaming Gladiators, going for the gold, the safe gold as well. He is SHIN.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Gen G Esports. Down in the series, can he bounce back? Can he punish the gold base as he was able to previously? It is a trap. Up! He sees.
Does get scouted, yeah. Unfortunately, didn't go blind Forge this time.
Yeah, here, Forge response is not going to be as ideal, but at least Trap is aware of what's going on. Again, for those that are curious, we're leading to Dynasty, a very often vetoed map. Exciting to see it for the first time tonight, most likely for the only time tonight, as it is one of the most vetoed maps in the map pool. And one of the big features is going for this goal base and going into a Roach all-in from here.
Yeah, very common plays. You already see the main art of drones, so SHIN already setting everything up. Trap keeping up, still getting the hit, the gold base himself, but not exactly in the safest location.
Yeah, exactly. As Trap, I mean, just going for the standard goal base back at home on his side of the wall, of course, and SHIN, I'm curious what kind of all-in is going to go for. Something that I was really excited to see is that Raynor, he did bring out a new build during EWC. There was a unique variation of all-in that he did on this map, which was not just Roaches, but he went for like a German taxi variation with Roach Queen, which did find a lot of success. It was just a really unique approach to all-in on Dynasty. And I'm curious if SHIN was watching, I'm curious if SHIN was maybe inspired, or we'll just go for Roaches.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. Trap this time going to be opening up very different from how he opened up on Alcyone. He's going for the Stargate.
Yeah, it is going to be the Stargate opener. Meanwhile, Lings will slip in. The one Adept unable to keep up with the two Lings, and we do manage to get a full scout of the main base. A very nice start here by SHIN, fully aware of what's going on.
Yep, and this gives him plenty of time to prepare back home.
Yeah, he's going to be getting into his Queen production. He's going to be, of course, saturating this restressing gas geyser as well. And we'll keep an eye on SHIN. We'll keep an eye on that eventual Roach timing. We'll see if we go into a lair alongside it. And the goal of these Roaches as well, and why they're so common on this map, is to try to punish this mining base, try to punish the economy, and kind of disrupt the mining here of Trap.
Yeah. Just a couple of biles here and there, a couple of Roaches here, there, and here. Don't really have to commit too much to just prevent the mining.
And there.
Yeah. And here. And a little bit there.
As we have Trap starters typing backwards, one Adept is going to be going down, the other will thankfully survive. We have Link Speed kicking in, and ooh, the Oracle does bypass the army, does get into the main base, getting 3 drones.
For not quite 5, but will survive and will get away from that and wait for the second Oracle to get into position. Optic for triple Oracle, okay.
Yeah, triple Oracle opener. We have a lot of gas, by the way. We have a lot of gas here for SHIN, and we have not really attacked in any big direction. So far, there's no lair. So far, there's no Roach Warren. Yeah, really curious to see what SHIN is going to be up to.
I mean, it feels almost inevitable that we're going to see some kind of Roach play on Dynasty, but what type of Roach play is going to be the question.
Yeah, the Roach Warren now gets thrown down. It's going to be scattered immediately by these Oracles, but again, it's a much later Roach Warren from SHIN, so it's curious just because, I mean, Trap has been able to make use of the score base. It's fully operational, fully up and running, and yeah, SHIN, he's going to be going for what looks to be a bit of a later move out, a bit of a later timing, as he has not gone for a lair.
Huh. Yeah, so no Galil Constitution, not for a while anyway.
Yeah, we're making more Lings. The Queens are keeping up. There we go. Lair is now going to be on the way after the initial wave of Queens is done. So a bit of a later lair timing for SHIN. Adepts are going to be able to get quite a bit done though. They get a drone. They're mining here at the gold base before being forced to recall.
Cowards should have tried to should have escaped the old-fashioned way. Should have hoofed it.
Yes, we get, oh my god, 7-8 drone kills at the third.
Very nice control coming out from Trap. Doesn't lose a single Oracle in that, by the way.
Yeah, the Oracles, they all managed to escape. We're amassing more Lings here outside of the bases. The drones are still amassing for SHIN. SHIN, yeah, he's just saturating up to 3-base saturation here. He does have the Roach Warren, he does have the Lair finishing up, but he's not really making use of it.
Yeah, I'm surprised, honestly. So it's not going to be any Bailings or anything like that. What's the gas count looking like? Decent, which is why we have Hydras on the way. Lunkers again?
Yeah, so this is where now I'm really concerned for SHIN. We spoke earlier about how, like, usually you want to be hyper aggressive on this map and try to punch the Protoss, and hey, we're able to catch some of these Stalkers. Blink is not yet done. Not a bad catch here by SHIN, but Trap, his economy is superior. His economy has been greater, has been better this entire time, is now moving out across the map, catching these Overlords, and SHIN is trying to play towards a later game, and we'll see if he can actually get there in time, as Trap is here to punish him. Blink is now done.
Yeah. These Lings are going to have a little bit of a tougher time dealing with that. 10 Hydras on the way, though, with Groove Spine, so if SHIN can keep his army together and in position, then he should be able to chase us back.
Yeah, it's like Queens are going to be able to hold their own. Clutch Train Fuse will keep each other alive. One Queen finally goes down, but the Hydras have arrived. SHIN just trying to buy time for his Hydra production, but the Stalkers have made it. They likewise are gaining ground. More Lings are falling, more Queens are falling as well. Trap is taking a fourth behind. This is not a three-way stall-in out of Trap, but he's trading nicely here with these Stalkers so far. Eventually, though, he's going to be forced back.
Yeah, or at least that's what should be happening. Infestation Pit now on the way. SHIN, once again, is more than fine with trading out armies, so long as it means that he's going to be able to continue mining, but his economic setup isn't looking too great, to be honest. He's only on less than 60 workers, and still kind of struggling to saturate his fourth.
Has been struggling here, as we do see SHIN slowly pushing forward, catching a Zealot, catching an Adept, getting on top of those, like, trying to get on top of those Stalkers. Unable to, though. SHIN is going to be forced back.
For now, Trap up 9 workers, which is one of the last things you want to see as a Zerg player against your Protoss opponent.
Is going to be having a hard time. SHIN trying to keep up as well. We do have the Lurker Den on the way. Likewise, more Hydras massing up as well. Trap just poking in. He's still taking up even further behind this, but has to be very careful not to be caught out.
Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of his army for the time being. If he does get surrounded, then that's going to be a massive opening while he's still transitioning. He's getting Colossus now. He's getting Thermalance now. He is around the Templar archives, but it's going to take him some time.
Yeah, it's going to take him some time here, as we are just going to be building up, getting to that splash damage. Colossus now on the way. Templar Archives as well for Storm. Trap getting into his own final form, and yeah, I mean, SHIN has been able to defend long enough to get into the Lurker tech. Like, Lurkers are now on the way, and now we can hold our own.
And yeah, usually this is where I find that the game ends. But I think my experience isn't universal. So
like, it's my unique experience.
Yeah, let's continue.
they trigger the GG button, Pappy. It's oh no. But yeah, now that we've reached Lurker Tech, it's gonna be that much more difficult for Trap to really break. He's gonna try to poke in, but pushing into these Lurkers is not gonna be easy.
Yeah, even if he did have Thermal Lance, which he doesn't for the time being, he also doesn't really have detection aside from these Oracle Revelations.
Yes, we're going to be able to hold on. Likewise, Trap rotating towards the left-hand side, but the Lurkers are going to be able to keep up, and they're going to be able to get in position just in time to force back Trap.
Like so. SHIN finally with these Lurkers has been able to break free, has been able to get a 5th base behind all of it, and drone up to almost 80.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit of a zealot run by, gonna be caught out by Lynx.
Yeah, for those that are curious, when it comes to the frame drops that we've been getting in game, I know it's been getting a little bit worse, but I will try to fix that in the next game or in the next series. Don't you worry. I did just remember something that was recommended to me, so I'll try to fix it, try to sort it out. Lurkers, they're burrowing in.
Indeed, they are. Vipers are now here, waiting for a yoink, but not quite getting one yet. Both armies trading out buffer units for buffer units. But I feel as though SHIN has come out a little bit better from here.
Yeah, SHIN, he's been able to deflect the army, and now we've reached our final form. Hydra Lurker Viper here for SHIN. With this, we can look to abduct and yoink these high-tech units. I'm talking about the Colossus, talking about the Immortals, and I was waiting for Trap to embrace this and support with the Storm and High Templar, but we have none. Without High Templar, we have no feedbacks, and the Vipers, they can reign free.
They absolutely can, and we saw how useful they are in some of our previous series, Blinding Clouds especially, but in ZVP, yoinks even more so, like so.
Yeah, we yoink in the Colossus. The Lurkers are a little bit exposed, though. The Lurkers are going to be going down as the army does get on top, and Trap, he's pushing through. He's snowballing out of control, gets on top of the Lurkers, and is breaking through the main army.
Yeah, not quite able to take out the Colossus immediately. And as a result, he is paying the price. The Soul Train is knocking on his door, and it doesn't look like there's much that SHIN can do about it. GG is called, and Trap gonna be tying us up 1-1 in this best of 3 semifinals.
GG, well played. A bit of a bit of an interesting game state there between our players. Again, it was just a really awkward game to go over. As I will try to set things up. But a really awkward game to go over, just because we saw that SHIN was like opened up aggressively, but was a little bit more defensive and passive, and slowly got into his own Hydra Lurker Viper tech, and unfortunately wasn't really able to slow Trap down. And yeah, we saw there, even though we got into that ideal unit composition, Trap was able to just push in anyway. There just wasn't enough support or buffer to protect the Lurkers.
There really wasn't. That was a lot more passive than I remember from SHIN. Or that I normally expect SHIN to play, and you know, maybe it could have worked out for him if one or two fights went a different way. Like you said, he just didn't really have much of a buffer for his Lurkers, even though the Blinding Clouds and the yoinks were good. He didn't really have enough of a follow-up after that. So if that went a different way, maybe we could have seen a victory. If that went, if a couple of other things went differently, then yeah, maybe. But alas, 'twas not to be. Speaking of what is to be, we actually have confirmation. The lower semis have concluded. Looks like Bjorn has taken out Classic 2-1, and so he will be waiting in the grand finals for either SHIN or Trap.
Here we go. And meanwhile, we're getting into the ace match here. Again, I do apologize for us being a little bit distracted in that last game, but now we can embrace the ace match here, and hopefully those frame drops or the connection to BattleNet has stabilized here. Fingers crossed, as we are jumping on in.
Indeed, we are going to be loading into Site Delta to conclude our best of 3 semifinals, where we're here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left. We of course have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is of course going to be representing the Gaming Gladiators. We have SHIN Ramyan.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Genji Esports. It is Trap. Ooh, and this is much smoother here. You do love to see it. So again, I apologize for the frames dropping earlier. Again, it was just the connection to BNet. For those that are curious as to the fix, maybe if you're experiencing yourself, I am using a VPN. I'm now using a VPN to try to connect straight to Korea, and clearly it's working much better here. It's beautiful.
I don't know what VPNs you guys have been using, because in my experience, that usually doubles my ping.
Using Mudfish.
Huh.
Yeah, Mudfish is a bit of a more unique VPN. Mudfish is just it specifically like reroutes your nodes, so it just takes a direct path. It's used for gaming. A lot of the pro players use it. A lot of pro players usually use it. So yeah, we're gonna be able to settle in, and again, thankfully everything is smooth here. So I don't apologize for the quality of the stream for the majority of the cast, but now we're gonna be settling in quite nicely here. Now if you notice, this was a bit of a more defensive opener out of SHIN. SHIN did go for a 15 hatch build, 15-15, so a bit of a later gas geyser here, but at least the hatchery does not get blocked.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get everything up and running in roughly the right time.
Yeah, this
Nice field. I'm expecting the Roach Warren again, but you don't have to on Site Delta. I do feel like it's a map that offers you a couple more options as a third player.
We shall see, as SHIN did go for, because of the 15-15, link speed is later. Link speed is going to be delayed. Because link speed is delayed, as you were alluding to, Yako, that is why often Zurich players do go straight for the Roach Warren instead, just because, you know, it's not worth investing into link speed. So we'll see if SHIN does do that. As for now, we're going to be settling in, and we'll keep an eye on where that gas is being spent.
Yeah. Stargate coming out from Trap. Nice and reliable. Hasn't failed him yet. Unlike the Twilight Council opening.
Yep, there it is. There's that Stargate in the main base. With that, should be working towards Oracles. We saw how much damage Trap was able to do last game. But again, last game was just a really odd one. Like, again, it was just a really... Like, I felt very uneasy throughout the entirety of that previous game. Just because of how, like, passive SHIN was playing. And yeah, it was just a weird one. It was a weird game.
I feel like this is an affront to nature and physics.
Like, this doesn't make sense.
How?
You should die, and he did. Like, it's like this should not work.
I have never seen this live, and it didn't. Yeah. It died out. The ones that didn't evolve, they died out or evolved.
There you go. There you go. As Trap is going to be shading in past the main army towards the main base, and we'll be able to commit to this shade. Queens are trying to keep up, no creep connecting the bases, so we do trade very nicely against these Lings. Very nice control here out of Trap.
Hasn't lost a single one of them yet. Is able to take out a drone at the very least, and a couple of Lings.
Oh yeah, and we get some Lings. Does allow for 4 drones to go down here at the natural base as well, so very nicely done here by Trap, able to pull apart SHIN a little bit, get some damage done. Behind this, third base is being taken, Oracles are hitting the field, and Trap is embracing a pretty standard setup here for the standard opener, and harassing quite nicely.
And just continuing that damage, keeping the domino roll flowing. Or falling? Question mark? Yeah, falling makes more sense as. That was a kill and not a cancel on the Spore Crawler, thankfully for SHIN though. Quick reaction with the Queens.
So far, a quick reaction. We do see Trap going to be rotating around. At least the Oracles are still alive. They're still up and running. They're still kicking. Behind this, we do have a Forge and a Twilight Council going to be working towards +1 and Blink. So pretty standard setup here by Trap. Really, our eyes are on SHIN as we do it. Shade into the main base and the natural at the same time.
Yeah, really splitting apart the focus of SHIN for the time being. There's one Adept at a choke point in the main is going to take out a whole ton of drones. 8 of them in total, and we are not done just yet. Oracle's coming in for round 2. One of them will finally fall, but that is 16 drones going to be taken out immediately. SHIN had 56 at one point. No, he doesn't.
He does not. Gee, oh my god. That's a mineral line. That's an entire mineral line worth of workers. 16 workers going down. Ay, that is brutal. And with that, Trap has a massive economic lead. SHIN was unable to successfully get into the mid game without taking game-ending damage or too much damage. And now SHIN is up against the wall. How do we bounce back? Lair is on the way. +1 melee is on the way. SHIN doesn't really have any tech to go all in, so he's going to try and drone up and try to stabilize. But right now, Trap is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, ball is in his court, and let's see how he travels with it. Travel? No, dribble.
Do you watch basketball?
Not as much as I used to.
Okay.
I had a friend who watched basketball, so I used to watch it with him.
I have
during school breaks.
I've never seen basketball before in my life. It's like, it's not a thing here in Australia. Like, it's not...
Oh, it's not really a thing here either, but...
Okay.
I don't know. He had a really nice Mac as well, so... when he would watch the NBA during breaks. So it'd be like, well, I could do schoolwork, or I could not.
There you go.
That was a season that made me hate the Golden State Warriors. Just won everything, goddamn.
I don't understand that reference. I don't know who they are.
Just won freaking everything.
Okay, I'll take your word on it. Yeah,
Well,
let's go.
Frisco.
Take
Fuck
that.
him.
Take that, Shaq.
Take that. No, Shaq was in the Lakers.
Magic Mike.
And also Shaq retired, and Magic Mike retired.
Okay.
No, Magic Johnson. Magic Mike was a different guy.
Okay. That's he played with different balls. It's different. It's different.
He did.
Yeah. Oh god. You know who I mean? Yeah, the basketballer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all I know. And Stephen Curry. Yeah.
And also the Knicks.
The Knicks.
The Knicks. I love them, but they keep losing. So they're my team, but they keep losing. So I hate them, but I'll still support them.
Okay. Fair enough. As we do see Trap moving forward here, there are plenty of leagues to keep up, and with the Oracle unable to support in time, that's the little Stalkers going down. Oh my god.
Yeah, brilliant surround coming up here from SHIN. All of a sudden, he's starting to turn the tables on Trap. Trap had the map control for so long in this game, and now he doesn't.
Yeah, the Ling's able to catch a lot of Stalkers that are making their way towards that third base. Nice stasis does connect, and with that stasis going off, Trap, can we hold on to that base? Hydras are looking a little bit exposed. Lings, likewise, they're going to surround it. Can we force a cancel? Up!
We're trying to. The stasis ward is coming in clutch, but that was a kill! We could not force a cancel because the Nexus died.
That's one worse here as Trap, he does lose the fourth base. Behind this has embraced Storm. Storm is done building up a lot of high tempo. We're getting ready for a move out, but alas, we're stuck on 3 bases, and SHIN this time has gotten into Lurker tech. The Lurkers are on the way, and SHIN is in a slightly better position than he otherwise once was. Had a rough start, but is bouncing back.
Yes, slowly but surely he droned up beautifully. He's now on 80 workers, which is way more than is necessary. This time it was a cancel, at the very least here for Trap, but yeah, unfortunately that being canceled at this point is still going to hurt him a ton because he's been on 3 bases for quite some time, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's long distance mining, he's trying to get the 4th base up and running. Storm is still going to be a big factor here, but unlike the previous game where we saw Trap just kind of rush on forward and get on and like force his way on top of those Lurkers, this time we don't have Archons, we don't have Immortals, it's just a Gateway Army, Gateway units, and High Templar.
Yeah, I mean, if he has the perfect storms, then I could see Trap winning an engagement, but he's gonna need a little bit more of a buffer to prevent those High Templar from going down to even just Lings at this point.
Yeah, the first Immortal's now on the way for Trap, but again, the Immortal production is heavily delayed, and this army just does not scale well against Lurkers, not yet. It looks like we're trying to skip Immortals as well. We have a Stargate and Fleet Beacon on the way. We're trying to work towards Skytoss.
Yeah, and 4 bases, that's just about the minimum that you need, but it's still going to take a while before Trap is able to saturate in that 4th base. Meanwhile, SHIN, he's just going to be sending wave after wave after wave of Zerg Trap's way.
Yeah, SHIN is about to max. SHIN is about to max out at this point, and in that max out, SHIN is going to be able to overwhelm this army. We are just not ready for Hydra Lurker. Ling Hydra Lurker. We're just not ready for it, not yet. The 4th base is slowly getting up and running though, and I feel like SHIN, he's in a way running out of time. Like there's a window where he can break Trap. That window is closing as Tempest production has begun. Yeah,
that's really the way to take out Lunkers. At least Lunkers before your Zerg opponent is able to get Vipers and Corruptors. But of course, SHIN right now, he hasn't scouted this. He has no reason to suspect that Tempests are coming his way, so I don't believe he has a Spire. I mean, he has Hydras. Yeah. He has a Hive, so he can tech into Vipers, but even still.
Yeah, Storm's being thrown down the Lings. The Spire gets thrown down back at home, so SHIN is thinking about Corruptors. The Tempest is revealed, and SHIN is just forcing his way into the natural. He avoids the main army. He's going for the kill. He's going for the natural.
And he's just trying to siege this down. There isn't a lot of detection here, funnily enough, for Trap, so These lurkers can still act as a little bit of a foothold, can still get a little bit of damage done. Best case scenario, they take out this base. That was another kill!
It's another kill, another cancel on the Nexus. SHIN is going to be forced back. He has scouted the Sky Toss. We're now getting into it. Now should be focusing towards that corrupted production. SHIN backs up, but he's already remaxed. He should be getting ready for another wave, for another push. And we only have 2 Tempest. This Tempest count still is not too threatening. SHIN can still deal with this.
A huge storm right on top of these. Right on top of those lings, so that's going to prevent the run by, but not quite going to prevent the main army from just making its way across the map, just trying to catch SHIN off guard.
There you go. Is trying to rotate around, trying to find a dent in the armor, a chink in the armor of Trap, but so far Trap is holding on. He's nicely spread between his bases. We have Tempest here towards the south, Tempest towards the center as well, and SHIN just hasn't found a way in.
Not yet, anyway. Trap actually starting to really secure himself on these bases. Now, obviously, he's not really on a 4-base economy. His main is about to be mined out. His natural and his third as well are lacking a little bit, but he is starting to get to the point. He is starting to get to the minimum income that he needs to really secure a Sky Toss army.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with those 8 corruptors, that should be enough, especially considering that there's no carrier. Like, really, this isn't a Skytos army. It's like Sky Light. It's like we have Skytos units to support the ground army instead, with only a couple of Tempest. Oh,
yeah. It's like a parade that has blimps in it. You know, it's not quite like a full-on air squadron thingy.
Are there parades in Singapore?
There's one parade every year during Independence Day.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And when you're 11 years old, you're forced to go on it.
Okay.
because they need to film. Well, no, not the actual parade, but like the parade rehearsals. Okay. You're forced to go there as an audience member at 11 years old. Partially because they're like, yeah, need to get the kids to know what's going on, but also it's so that they can film a crowd before selling tickets for the actual event.
Okay.
So that they can make their ads.
Okay, I see. I haven't been to a parade in a long time. We have, yeah. It's been years. Maybe since I was 11 as well. Possible.
Oh, there you go. I've done Sydney as well. When Sydney, no, wait, no. That didn't happen.
What are you saying? We got our
independence
like
from
when
Malaysia. Sydney got kicked out of, yeah, when Sydney got kicked out
of Malaysia.
Of the Federation.
It did happen, yeah, true.
Yeah.
As we can see, Trap has successfully expanded. He's been having a hard time taking a 5th, and now we double expand. We get a 5th base, a 6th base as well. Meanwhile, SHIN is walling up. SHIN is walling up with spores, with lurkers. We are embracing the would-be lady. Up.
Yep, I didn't think we get there, but oh, nice little minus 300. That's correct, right? It's not 250.
That's 300.
Yeah, there we go.
Should did
300.
Should have made it 250. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Would have been broken.
So many memes.
Oh, the fungal!
Oh, huge fungal's gonna be landing on the army, but unfortunately for SHIN, there's also way too many storms for there to be any follow through.
Yeah, no follow-up from SHIN. Meanwhile, the sick face has been spotted. We do see Trap bypassing the wall of lurkers and spores, going straight in between the bases.
Yeah, Trap just going through mid. The main army of SHIN not at all in position to deal with this. Huge storm's gonna be connecting on most of those Hydras.
Yeah, lurkers are now repositioning. They've realized that they were just out. They were nowhere near the main fight. The storms are brutal. Infestors are going down, and SHIN, he's struggling to deal with this army. The base is gonna fall, and then Trap can just rotate, go straight for the natural, and then into the main.
Yeah, and there's just no easy way for SHIN to engage on top of this. The Tempests are in the dead air, and the Corruptors, they're just not able to get in position. They're afraid of storms.
Yeah, you can see that we've been building up Corruptors and Broodlords here in between the bases, but we're losing so much in the process. 17 drones go down. Lurkers going for a big counterattack. The Broodlords, they can try to hold on to the main base. They're coming in.
And we'll see what they can get done. We're trying to force out a couple of storms here. Up from Trap. They are pretty huge, or not that huge.
Oh,
nice Fungal gonna be landing on top of the main army. The Tempests are starting to fall. It looks like the Broodlords were not quite able to take out all these High Templar, but they are able to chase away the remnants of the ground army.
Yeah, without the Sky Tulls, the Broodlords reign supreme. They shut down the main force. At the same time, DT counterattack does get in, and we need some ground army. Thankfully, Lurkers do get in position, and it looks like the Immortals are being chased down. Can SHIN look down this army? Oh, he's trying.
Gonna try. He doesn't have anything on the flank to really lock them down. The Infestors aren't quite here. But we are taking out a couple of key high-tech units in the retreat. Immortal went down. High Templar went down.
Yeah, we're catching a couple of Immortals. We're catching a couple of High Templar. Yeah, the Immortals, they do get flanked. At the same time, Tempers are coming in, but we have plenty of Corruptors.
We have plenty of Corruptors. We have a battery overcharge, but I don't think that's quite going to be enough. But we're going to try to get something done, but it's not going to be enough as well. That's a problem with Skytoss, right? It's very strong, but once it goes down, it takes forever to rebuild.
Oh my god, we target down 3, 4 Broodlords. The Blink Stalker transition is popping off. He's getting every single one.
Yeah. Who needs a mothership? Who needs Tempest? Who needs Void Rays? Well, you just have a whole ton of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, when you have Ground Toss, Bobby. Meanwhile, Zelte busts into the main. They're going for the Greater Aspire. They deny any more Broodlords.
That one Broodlord on the map, that's going to be lonely for quite a while.
Yeah, just one Broodlord left. We have dead supply in these Corruptors. They cannot morph into Broodlords as the Greater Aspire went down. Oh, we do have a flanking army. The Lurkers, they do come in from behind.
And they do come in from behind, but I don't think there's enough meat in this Zerg army. We have a lot of empty calories in these Corruptors.
Yeah, but
not enough fiber or minerals.
They take down the Void Ray at least.
Protein.
Meanwhile, Zelt's in the main base is so wreaking havoc. They got both Spires, the Greater Spire and the regular Spire. They get the Hive as well, so no more Vipers. And they can go for the Lurkers, also the Lurker Den as well. At the same time, DT counterattack is wreaking havoc. Drones are going down. Trap is still in. This is a very chaotic game state. Very up in the air, but Trap, he's somehow bringing it all together, at least trying to.
Yeah, trying being the key point. I want to believe in the Ling transition coming out here from SHIN.
I mean,
but this dead air or dead supply of Corruptors is killing them.
Yeah, it's not helping too much here because, I mean, we just don't have a Spire. Lurkers are keeping up. The Lurker Den barely survives, so we can still morph in Lurkers. Quickly checking the tech, actually.
Well,
there's no Hydroden. The Hydroden will snipe, so we can actually only make Lings. That's all we can make.
There's no Hydroden. There's also barely any gas income.
Yeah, we're on 2 base.
But hey, if all you can make are Lings, that's not a terrible unit to be stuck with.
Yes, again, these Corruptors, they can only watch as the Stalkers are trying to break through. Again, a big storm on those Lurkers. The Lurkers, they barely hold on. And we're going to be rotating around towards the right-hand side. The Lurkers, they cannot keep up, and this space is looking exposed. Thankfully, we have another wave of Lurkers in position.
Yeah, we're going to try to hold, but there is detection, and there's more than enough here. DPS here to take him out. Minus 250, minus 300, minus 300. That's a total of minus 600, minus 600.
Yeah, Mothership
which,
does.
you know, if you divide that by 4, it's minus 150, minus 150.
Mothership does go
down. Times 4.
The Lurkers, they stand their ground, so Trap isn't able to gain any ground here. We see the Lurker Den is being rebuilt. Hydrogen gets rebuilt as well, so SHIN, he's building back up from scratch. Trap needs to calm down, I feel. Like, he has some momentum, he has a better economy. If he can just slowly just muster up an army, wait for a couple of reinforcements, then we can push in.
Yeah. He needs a little bit more time, but I do have to favor him. Just got the higher tech at this stage.
I mean, Trap, he's got double the economy. You know, Shin is on 2 bases. We have Trap getting up to 6 bases here on 61 workers. Morphing in more DTs, building up more Immortals. Now we have a more robust army that can actually get on top of these lurkers. Unfortunately, going into Skytoss is out of the question. Again, there's still too many Corruptors, so at least that kind of zones away the Skytoss transition in some way. But like a Ground Toss army can still look quite intimidating against lurkers.
Yeah, it really can, especially when you have an Observer for detection. More lurkers start to get morphed in by Shin. And it looks like the name of the game right now is to just turtle up with whatever he can gather and try to make these Corruptors useful somehow.
Storms are going to be thrown down. We're trying to go 6-3 down the building. We will get the Nexus. Nexus goes down at the same time. Stalkers are trying to push in, but we have plenty of lurkers to defend back at home.
We do have a DT. Oh, my god, detection.
Yeah, we do have the Spore. Oh my god, the lurkers are doing so much damage. At the same time, we're pushing on the right-hand side, but lurkers likewise are also in position.
A lot of them do get stormed down, but most of them will survive, and they will be keeping this Protoss army at bay.
Yeah, and again, Trap, I feel like still needs to calm down. We have a bank to work with. We don't want to overextend and lose too much. There's 18 lurkers for Shin, and he is not being broken. Not yet. Not anytime soon with this kind of army. He's trying, though.
He's not being broken, but he is in the process of getting starved. So like you said, Trap does need a little bit more patience there. Support is coming in the back line. The lurkers will burrow.
Yeah, but that was what? That was
so many Corruptors.
That was 6 lurkers going down. The Corruptors try to dive in, but they get annihilated by the Archons. And now we are down to a handful of lurkers, but it looks like it is barely going to be enough. They're coming from behind. No detection.
And they are going to be taking out so many Archons and the rest of these Immortals as well. That's going to be it. GG is called. And Shin, my lord, after an intense ace match, is going to be taking that series 2-1. Will be facing Byun in the grand finals. GG, 100%. I thought Trap had it right towards the end there. I was going to point out that, yeah, Shin is ahead in the army supply, but look at how many Corruptors aren't being useful right now. But, oh man, Shin, he just recognized that, hey, I still have a handful of lurkers. This is the only army you have left on the map. If I can get a good flank, if I can get some really good volleys on top of your Archons, on top of your Immortals, that's going to be game. And that was game. GG. Very nicely done.
GG. I mean, a big part of this as well is I do think Trap overextended. I think he got a little bit too excited with what was going on. Trap, he had the better economy. In a longer game, Trap, he would be able to refine, max out, and get the ideal composition. But it did look like he got a little bit too excited. He smelled blood in the water. He wanted to kill Shin ahead of time, not allowing him to also stabilize. But in doing so, it does feel like Trap did overextend and... yeah, did just overstep there, pushing into lurkers.
Yeah, the bloodlust. It doesn't often take over Protoss players in my experience, but it can happen to us all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it can happen. And I mean, it was a really intense game state as well. I mean, again, Trap, he knew how close he was. He knew how close he was to breaking Shin. He knew that he was in a better position. He just had to calm down. He just had to calm things down and stop pushing into the lurkers, Poppy. I mean, that's what Shin wants. He wants you to push into the line of lurkers. And I mean, that was just a beautiful finale there for Shin as well, coming in from behind, getting the full surround, especially when there was 0 detection. With that, GG, well played. Shin will advance on to the grand finals, and we already have our finalists ready and waiting.
Indeed, we do. We have a finalist who was waiting for quite some time. Byun is now on the other side of this. Our players are conducting their vetoes, and they're getting ready. It looks like they are arguing a little bit.
Yeah, you
go. Oh, well, I say arguing. Yeah, I see a lot of backward Fs.
Yeah, you say Byun, of course, he's in the finals, and you gloss over it a little bit, but Byun, he did take down a Classic, I believe, in the semis.